Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences Podcast. I'm Dallas, and I'm sad that Netflix is ending all my favorite shows.
I'm Colin, and they seem to do that with a lot of shows, just like, oh, you had a good run? No.
It'd be a shame if it ended.
And I'm Demi, and I'm feeling incredibly inspired. Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences Podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Fancast Fridays, Throwback Thursdays, and a number of other pop culture-related items. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are reviewing Dune, based on the novel Dune. No, not that Dune from last week, but the other Dune from this week.
Dune!
Also, Dallas,
Hmm?
at least some of your favorite people then go on to make Vor.
Voir. Voir.
Oh,
Vor.
yes. I
So,
forgot
you have
about
that.
Not Vor.
Yeah, D. Finch and his Vor show.
You know.
I already yelled at him. Was it the last episode? I was already yelling about David?
Yeah, you did.
I
No,
believe
that was Fandom.
Yeah, it was Fandom.
Fandom.
Episode before last.
But yes, we've come to realize that Gabby was a collective hallucination. So
Caused by the spice.
Yeah, spicy menage. Before we get into this episode, please like and subscribe and share so we can monetize and afford to research how we all had a collective hallucination of a woman named Gabby.
Mandela effect.
Yes. Or something's in the water.
Something's in the spice, I told you.
Something's the spice in the water.
Yeah.
Except
Hmm?
our eyes aren't vibrantly blue. So
Not yet. We haven't had enough spice.
True.
We had enough to
We
have
had
the
just enough to
hallucination.
hallucinate Gabby
Dang. All right.
for years.
You've seen her at different times in different places with each other, without each other. Like, this is wild.
The
Something in the
spice
water.
in Pasadena is crazy.
I guess so.
But yeah, let's get into Dune. Not to be confused with Dune. Or Dune. Jimmy?
Directed by Denis Villeneuve, written by Denis Villeneuve, John Spates, and Eric Roth, based on the novel by Frank Herbert, starring Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Stellan Skarsgård, Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista, Javier Bardem, and Zendaya. Woo! Synopsis. Paul Atreides, a brilliant and gifted young man born into a great destiny beyond his understanding, must travel to the most dangerous planet in the universe to ensure the future of his family and his people. As malevolent forces explode into conflict over the planet's exclusive supply of the most precious resource in existence, a commodity capable of unlocking humanity's greatest potential, only those who can conquer their fear will survive.
That's quite a summer.
It is quite a summer.
Also, I forgot the thing that I normally do when I do the thing
Do
that
the
Demi
thing.
just did.
Oh, yeah.
Is that I tell you where you might know these people from. So, Denis Villeneuve, you probably know, but he directed Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 24.
24. It's 2049.
That's so weird. Blade Runner 2049. I don't know why I said 24.
It's the 24th movie of the Blade Runner series.
Probably. And then John Spates. That's how you said his name, right?
That's how I said it. I
Cool.
don't know if that's correct, though, guys.
is now.
Sorry.
He wrote Prometheus, Doctor Strange, and The Darkest Hour. No, not that Darkest Hour. The Darkest Hour. Different movie.
Wait, so Darkest Hour is that the bomb one? No.
The bomb one.
War one?
Darkest
No.
Hour is Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
The Darkest Hour is a sci-fi movie written by John Spates.
Okay.
And Eric Roth wrote Forrest Gump,
Wow.
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. This dude is old. And A Star is Born. Not to be confused with A Star is Born, A Star is Born, or A Star is Born.
Are we talking the most recent Star is Born?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
A Star is Born 4.
No, it's a
Revenge of the Stars.
it's a 4 is born.
That's good. I like that. Yes. The fourth Star is Born. Okay. So, Demi, you like this movie a lot.
I do, but I'm going to go after you guys. Same thing that we did with Black Widow because I don't have enough. It's too much.
All right. Colin,
Me.
I've been wondering
Uh-huh.
how you were going to feel about the
I
movie.
will say this, though. I
Hmm.
knew exactly how both of you guys would feel about this movie as soon as I walked out of the theater.
Interesting. I'm
This
curious.
movie was so boring.
See? Saw that
Oh
coming.
my
Yeah, same.
God.
I figured Colin wouldn't
This
like this one.
movie was so boring. I get that you want to divide Dune into two parts. First of all, don't do that. Divide it into more than two. You can't. It's just don't. Because what ends up happening is you have long, extended stretches of introducing people to Arrakis, which is fine, except that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for Paul becoming white Jesus. Paul doesn't become white Jesus or even get close to becoming white Jesus in this movie. I think if I hadn't been watching it with people, I wouldn't have made it through.
Who'd you watch it with?
Oh, I'm supposed to shout out specifically Lauren and Hannah because Hannah got mad at me for not shouting them out, so I have to shout them out.
No, you
so
got to
I'm doing
shout
that.
people out. What are you doing?
I'm not a shout outer.
Shout outer. There's a character in this movie named Shout Out, but we can get to that later.
Yeah, shout out Mapes.
They got a shout out written into the script.
Right?
Yo,
Anyway,
whoever Mapes is must be happy as hell.
Yeah.
Shout out my nigga Mapes.
Honestly, I'm gonna watch the '80s movie again. That movie slaps so much, and this movie sucks. I can't say it sucks. That sounds like an objective judgment. It is extremely boring to me. I am so excited for the Sisterhood because that sounds like it'll slap, but this movie does nothing for me at all.
I liked it. It was cool. Yeah, just a general thought. I enjoyed it. If you listen to our last Throwback Thursday, did not enjoy 1984's Dune.
Me and Dallas had a time.
Yeah, it was hilarious to talk about. Maybe my favorite podcast, but oh boy, I didn't like that movie.
We got to do more movies like that, though, just for the podcast.
We have to.
Oh my God,
I'm going to make a list of movies I want to review on the podcast just for how ridiculous they are. But yeah, it was cool. It was dusty, sand. It was spacey.
Gets everywhere.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Demi, did you want to give like a short how you felt and then circle back?
Yeah, so main thought, this review is not long enough for me to give all of my thoughts that I have about this movie. I could probably talk about this movie for hours, but I think it's incredible. Like, it is an incredible piece of work. And it's like one of those movies that I will definitely be looking to for like future inspiration as like a director and as a writer, but mostly as a director.
Mm-hmm.
I think, although there are things about the writing that I think are very admirable and that they do very well. Denis Villeneuve's his vision, man, I cannot get over just how detail oriented it is.
Like
It's
visually or just like the whole
thing.
Okay.
Everything about it. It's just incredible, the amount of work that this man put in. It reminds me of like watching Mad Max Fury Road and just thinking, how in the hell did George Miller put this together? I kind of have a similar feeling about Dune.
Interesting.
I mean, that's the thing, is that the answer is that he didn't. Hundreds of people did.
Yes, hundreds of people did, but people always go back to George Miller for the Mad Max thing. Because
Right, but they shouldn't, because it's not fair. I'm saying if you talk about a movie, you talk about a Steven Spielberg movie, a George Miller movie, a Denis Villeneuve movie, they're responsible for large parts of what you see. They have the vision, but the execution of it is also down to, even stuff like how it looks is going to be down to,
which I will get
the editor,
into.
the color correction, the director of photography, the sound mixing, all of that. And I feel like that doesn't often get acknowledged because it all gets subsumed under the director's name.
I do think, though, he's the director, so it's his vision. A lot of this is him working with all these people and going, this is what I want to see. This is what I want it to be.
Yeah.
Please go out and execute it. And then they do.
And I think, like, given the casual nature of movie conversations and how often they happen, I think it would be ridiculous if every time we talked about a movie, we had to pull out a scroll and
of a million names.
So I want to shout out Mapes and 1,000 other people to talk about how I like this movie. Like, you just say,
yeah, but I
the
mean, you
person
can go through the cast list
given-
and list 10 names in that, but then we're not going to go beyond that and list any of the crew who have just as much hand in this as they do.
I mean, if I'm talking about the actors, then I'll list all the actors that I like. But if I'm going to talk about, I like this shot, then you're asking me to go do research, find out who did what, who was responsible for each thing visually. Credits take a while. And of course, there are certain things like if the score is dope. You remember when Joker came out, I kept talking about Hildur Guðnadóttir.
Gosh, you've gotten good at that.
Thank you. And how dope she is because I wanted to give credit where it's due. But,
there are hundreds of people playing in that orchestra.
Yeah, and I don't have time for that. And a lot of people don't. And they just want to say, I like this movie. Who directed it? So-and-so. It's just faster and easier. But if you are talking about, let's point out who did what, I do think it's important that people get their credit. But also, that's why we got credit.
We are so off topic.
Yeah, like we are and we are. I want to talk about some specific things.
It's like, and I have so many notes.
You do. Colin.
Me.
I almost messaged you this when we were watching the movie.
Okay.
Dramatic lamentation music is back.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They brought
so when
it
I
back.
was watching it, one of my friends was like comparing it to Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I was watching it with Kayla,
Uh-huh.
and she didn't see Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay.
But it happens, and then of course I have subtitles on because that's my default.
Yeah, me too.
And it says dramatic lamentation music.
Specifically.
And something about seeing that caption
Yeah.
and hearing it at the same time, it triggered an involuntary response.
Yeah.
I almost jumped off the couch. I was like, lamentation music. And Kayla was like, the hell is wrong with you? What are you talking about? And I paused the movie. I was like, I have to pause this movie. I was like, okay, so every time we saw Wonder Woman in Zack Snyder's Justice League, we heard, and it said lamentation music on the screen. And they brought back the lamentation music across franchises.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I was like,
Not studios, though.
no,
Same
Warner
studio.
Brothers has a thing for dramatic lamentation music. But I was so happy. It's in the pain box scene, and then it keeps coming later. And
Yep.
every time it happened, I was just like, lamentation
See, I think what's
music.
great is that sometimes it's subtitles as lamentation, but then sometimes it is dramatic lamentation.
Right, I was like, oh, this is dramatic lamentation. That's,
right? The other one was just regular
They
lamentation.
outdid Wonder
Sometimes
Woman.
you lament and you're just kind of feeling whatever about it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Speaking of feeling whatever about things, I want to talk about Timothée Chalamet because I
It's
do-
Timothy Chevrolet. Come on.
I like Charlemagne, but
That's good. Well,
Chevrolet's good too.
Yeah.
I just want to mix it up. I can't call
That's
him
fair.
Chevrolet every day.
That's true.
Oh my God.
So yes, I do think this man is a good actor. Now I can say that because I've seen something he's been in front of.
Oh yeah. I guess you hadn't.
I had it.
He had not.
While I think Big Tim is, competent and talented as an actor, I feel like his character, Paul, was just kind of there for me. There are scenes, maybe one scene, where he showed like a lot of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, while he had a little bit of personality for me,
Uh-huh.
he wasn't super interesting. And that's my problem because we have the two stories. We have the political stuff with House Atreides and Arachnid. On its own, that story doesn't interest me a whole lot.
Okay.
But is it Leto or Leto?
Leto.
They say Leto in the movie.
They said Leto in this one?
Really?
Yeah.
I
Cool.
just went with the god name.
Jessica continuously calls
Because I
him
think they
Leto.
call him Leto in the old one. But I don't know. Either way, Jared Leto. Oscar Isaac is dope. He kills this. And
Oh,
I
he's
think
great.
his character is great.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a great dad. My nigga Duncan, Idaho, Billy, Massachusetts, as Colin would call him,
Yeah.
was great. Gurney was dope. So I feel like that story on its own doesn't sound very interesting to me. I'm not like,
Mhm.
politics.
Mhm.
But those characters carried it for me. I was
Mm.
about Leto and Duncan, Idaho, and Gurney. They were cool.
Okay.
Paul's story on paper sounds more interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo,
Chosen one.
you want to be a witch boy? Your mom had a defiant boy, but she should have had a girl. The lady with the black lady church hat, put your hand in the pain box. All of that,
Yeah.
story-wise, is pretty cool.
Okay.
But character-wise, Paul just kind of left me like, all right, you're here,
Mhm.
but you're just kind of here. Like, I'm having dreams. I'm white
See,
Jesus.
this is interesting to me because for me, I felt like none of the characters really had any personality.
Interesting. Not even Leto?
Not really.
Leto?
I
No, I
feel like
definitely
we
disagree
didn't
on
get
that
to spend
one.
enough time
me
with
too.
him. That was my problem with this movie is there's so much in it that none of it feels deepened or fleshed out. And Paul, I think, is the weakest link for me. I think he's duller than shit. But that's just Paul. Paul is dull. He's dull in the book. He's dull in the 80s movie. He's dull in this.
Okay, I can
I
get that.
just don't
I
vibe
have to disagree with you
with
on the fleshed out
Paul.
part.
I feel like Paul feels like a person that things happen to, not a person who does things.
Yeah, he's one of those protagonists that I feel like we don't want to do too much. We want to do the, blank canvas, whatever they always say.
Mm-hmm.
But the other characters I was vibing with. I like Jessica. Gurney was dope. Like I said, Duncan, Idaho is that nigga. He was going hard in this movie. It was like, yes, Idaho, get these niggas. Mr. Potato.
Mr. Potato.
But yeah,
Hilarious.
the relationship between Paul and
Le-
Papa Paul, Leto.
Papa Paul.
Like one of the lines he says when Paul is like, this is kind of you guys thing. He's like, well, if you don't want to
If you don't want to
this.
lead,
Yeah.
the most important thing is that you are my son.
exactly, you'll still be the only thing I need you to be, which is my son. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, that is great. We don't
That's
get a lot of
fantastic line.
dope parenting lines like that. And I was worried because a lot of times that goes the opposite way.
Mm.
Like, oh, you'll come to realize you need to be the leader. Moana, you have to be the chief.
Right.
Like, and I was very happy that it didn't go that way. I was like, yo, Leto was super
See,
dope.
It's interesting though because I wonder how much of that is true. Because I also don't know how much Jessica was involved in trying to make him the Cuisinart have a drop.
That's the white Jesus, right?
That's
Yeah.
White Jesus.
Okay.
I don't know how. It sounds like from what she says, it sounds like no, she wasn't involved in trying to make him White Jesus. She was just trying to give Leto the son he wanted. But then the
Ugh.
Bene Gesserit go on and say, well, we've been planning for centuries and we've been breeding, like crossbreeding bloodlines to try to make White Jesus. So he can be Leto's son, but he still has to be more than that.
I don't want to go too deep into that because then we're just going too deep into plot details. I do think that Jessica is both sides of it. She is, I wanted to give him a son because he wanted a son,
Mhm.
but also there was something in her that knew that there was a possibility that she was giving birth to a Messiah.
Yeah, she wanted to have the kid cuisine or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like the Reverend Mother calls her out on it and goes, "You thought that you could have this savior of the universe."
Right.
I think she's both. That's one of the things that I love about Jessica's character is that she is very complicated in that sense. She is a woman of two worlds. And
That's true.
Rebecca Ferguson plays that very well, in my opinion.
Shout out to Becky. She was dope.
I don't think I'm going to call her that.
It's a name for Rebecca.
I don't know her like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
The score in this movie is phenomenal.
Oh my God, it's the best
music in
score
this
I've
movie
heard.
slaps.
It's the best score I've heard all year.
And it also caught me off guard. Like the bagpipes.
Yo,
Yo.
not just like bagpipes in the score, like they're bagpipes on screen.
Yes.
That
I wrote down
was
in my notes. I just wrote Scotland.
Yeah, one of
Because
my
that was
friends
what I
said
was
that
thinking.
was the whitest shit they'd ever seen, and it's like, yes, but it's so
This nigga's
Good.
so bad, but replace the pug with
Huh?
bagpipes.
Listen, Hans Zimmer did his thing on this movie.
He always does.
This
Hans is that dude.
score, and in a theater too, because Hans Zimmer's scores in a theater
Oh,
are
fuck.
Yeah, they'll
That's
shake
like
the room.
shaking
ridiculous.
yeah.
Oh my God. It's like you can feel the music in you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I did kind of bring this up earlier, but I do think that this movie in some places has a sound mixing problem where I cannot hear what the fuck people are saying.
Mm.
The first like 20 minutes of this movie, I could hear like none of it. If I didn't have subtitles, I would not be able to tell you what anyone was saying.
But you think that was like line delivery or sound mixing? Or both?
I think it was sound mixing or I don't know, or maybe it was line delivery. Maybe they were told to speak really quietly. Like I understand that you're in the same room with people, so you don't need to be shouting, but it's just like, can you speak at a normal volume? I'm sorry, I'm still speaking at a normal volume and Demi's right next to me. Like, come on now.
I didn't run into that issue personally, but I don't seem to run into a lot of the issues that people have
With
sound because when the new Venom came out, we watched it with Jordan, and she was talking about she couldn't understand what Eddie Brock was saying.
Really?
And I was like, I couldn't understand Venom a lot of the time, but
Mhm.
Eddie had no problem. So I guess like sometimes, that different ears for different peers.
Oh, good.
That's a
I
good
got
one.
saved it.
I like
got
that.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah.
one.
I didn't know
Yeah.
where it was gonna go. I just landed like a Riverdale writer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote down Timmy C. He really puts the white in White Savior.
God.
He was
dang.
just kind of
He's
bland.
so pasty too.
And it's so funny because his dad is like Guatemalan.
Leave the boy alone.
No, he's cool. He's cool. He's cool. I just see why he works with Greta Gerwig so much. I was wondering where the vagina mouth in the fish tank was, but I was kind of glad that we didn't have to deal with that this time.
How'd you feel about Harkonnen this time? Baron Harkonnen.
Oh, I like
Stellan
Stellan
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård?
Yeah.
And there goes our
He
15
was-
minutes.
better. Yeah, he was. I hated. I love McConan in
80s?
the first movie. I liked him. I didn't like him, but he didn't disgust me as much. He didn't spit on anybody's face.
See, the thing about Harkonnen is I think he's supposed to disgust you, and so this version felt a little muted. To
I
me.
can see that.
Like,
I just
he
don't
was
wanna be disgusted.
weird,
Yeah.
but I think it's Gurney. Somebody says, like, oh, the Harkonnens aren't even human. And there wasn't really anything in this that made me think, whoa, this guy is so weird. He's not, that would make me feel that way.
Except
And
that
maybe
black
Gurney
pool.
was just saying that because
little
he
Lazarus
doesn't like
pit.
them. I don't know.
I think
But-
so. But I wasn't disgusted by them, and I don't need to be. Just tell me that they're bad and show me that they're bad. Don't tell me. Show me that they're bad. And they did that. So I was like, I bet they bad.
I did like the way he floated in this one. Way better than the 80s. The 80s was fine, but this one was actually cool.
They just look like a Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory when
Yeah.
they drank that little fizzy.
Yeah,
drink.
fizzy lifty drinks.
Except honestly, that looked better. I don't know what it is about 80s Dune and looking worse than movies that came before. And yeah, that's pretty much all my notes. Except, I wish I remembered the actor's name.
Who?
The older light skinned man who's in like
Oh, him.
some stuff.
He's
him. He's
great.
great.
He is super
Steven
dope.
something, I think.
I was very excited to see him in the movie too.
I love him.
Stephen McKinley Henderson.
He was in Lady Bird.
Oh yeah, he was the priest, I think.
It's definitely not where I've seen him, but I have seen him in.
He was in Fences as well.
I think I saw him in Fences, which is interesting because I didn't see Fences, but I saw parts of it. Anyway, yo, he's dope. Just one of the shots that was really funny to me is when they're outside and he has that little like Daiso umbrella.
Oh, that was so cute.
It was adorable. I was like,
I loved
oh,
it.
he got that from the Santa Anita Mall. It was super cute, and I loved it. Also, shout out to that little desert mouse with the ears. Also, mad
yeah.
cute.
That was so cute.
Yeah.
I thought like a worm was gonna get it or something.
I was like, don't kill the little
Right,
desert
right.
mouse. It's adorable.
No,
Good
he
job,
made it.
Dennis.
Yeah. But yes, Colin, do you have anything you wanted to add, or should we go to Demi and
In my essay.
let us talk for 40 minutes?
Only thing I can think of is, oh boy, this movie needs a part 2, and I hope he gets to make it, because otherwise, well, it's a part 1. Absolutely a part 1.
It is a part 1.
It's a lot of setup, and I hope we get to see it pay off.
Dope. Cool. I'm going to try and run through my notes as quickly as possible. As I was saying earlier, Denis Villeneuve's direction is impeccable. You can see like his passion for the source material like on screen. Like you can tell this guy loved these books and it's like, I want to bring it to life as best I can. Every detail's been thought out and you can sense like last week when we were talking about the Batman trailer, I brought up how you look at this trailer and you can see like the director like has a very clear vision. There's a very clear purpose for the things that are happening, even though it's just a trailer. But you can tell that this guy has an idea of where he's going
Right.
with the material. I feel the same way watching this entire movie with what Villeneuve was doing. There is a purpose and there is a vision for every choice. I would highly recommend everyone check out his breakdown of the Gum Jabbar scene on Vanity Fair's YouTube because, oh my gosh, his breakdown is so good. I could listen to him talk about his choices all day.
The what Jafar scene?
It's
box.
the paint box.
Oh, okay.
Greg Fraser is becoming one of my favorite cinematographers between his work on Dune and Rogue One and now the stuff that we've seen for the Batman. every shot in this movie is beautifully composed and lit. And if you can, I highly recommend seeing it in IMAX to experience the more than hour of footage that is shot in IMAX.
Oof.
The visual effects, production design, costume design, everything is up to a high standard. Everything is just so well made and just looks like it all goes together so well. I think the story is well written. Exposition and world building are presented in quite natural ways, seeing as there is so much information that has to be given in this movie. And we were talking about in the 84 movie how it was hard to understand the things that they were like explaining or that they didn't explain. And I feel like this movie made a lot of those things more accessible.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The movie itself is slow paced, so don't expect a typically paced action film. It is not that at all. It is like Blade Runner 2049. It's weird because the story is somehow complete and also very incomplete. Like this first part tells the tragedy and fall of the Atreides, but you need the second part so that we can see the rise of Paul Atreides.
Right.
So it's like, yes, thematically this story is one story, and then we need the second part so that we can get the second half of that story for it to be complete. Yeah. WB, come on, man. You got to greenlight that second part. I need to know what happened. There's not really one cast member that I would want to point out more than any other because I think everyone plays their roles really, really well. I do think that the movie falls squarely on the shoulders of Timothée Chalamet and Rebecca Ferguson. And like that tent scene might be one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie.
What scene?
The tent scene.
Which one is
so it's after, things have gone down. They talk about like who he is and who he might end up being.
Oh, right.
He's like,
Yes.
Personally, I thought that scene was garbage, but
no, I love
said,
that scene.
I thought his acting was real bad.
I did not.
Okay.
He is
that the one he's like mad at her?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I like that one because that's where I was like, okay, Paul has emotion, and I'm happy to see that.
I love that scene, especially when I saw it. I've seen this movie twice. I saw it once on Thursday and once on Friday. I love the relationship between him and his mom because you see at the beginning what it is and what it was like, and then the box scene happens and their relationship completely changes. And because the movie rests solely on them, like it hinges on their relationship and the tension that has been brought into their relationship because of that one scene at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that does make sense. There's like a shift after he's like, you let that lady in the church hat torture me.
Yeah. That's why I think that the tent scene is so great because it is the culmination of that tension finally coming together. And this is probably my favorite role from Rebecca Ferguson. I've seen her in a number of films, and I think this is my favorite one. And I think the family dynamic, you were talking about how Oscar Isaac plays a really good dad in this movie. I think that the entire family dynamic works really well, from Leto and Paul to Jessica and Paul to Leto and Jessica, and then them as a whole family. I think every section of that works really well and is very believable. Action sequences in this movie are certainly a spectacle. The fight scenes have pretty dope choreography, with every house having their own style of choreography.
Right.
Like the Atreides house is based in Filipino martial arts, which I think is really cool, and I think we don't see a lot of that in action films.
No.
So it does make the Atreides fight style very different from things that we see in other movies. As I said earlier, Hans Zimmer's score is like the best score I've heard all year. And it's pretty much its own character. And like there's so much about this movie that like I just love and could talk about. A couple of small details that I love are like the usage of sign language and other languages in the movie.
Oh yeah, the gang signs that she was throwing up.
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
And then the way that they do the voice in this movie is so good. And I would highly recommend seeing it in theaters just for that effect alone. Because I went to go watch what it's like when you watch it on HBO Max. It's not the same.
I imagine those things aren't.
I didn't see it in theaters. I only saw it on HBO Max. It did not hit the way the 80s did. When the 80s, when it goes from really high breathy voice to immediately a monster from hell.
Yeah.
See,
in 2 lines, that hits. This did not hit.
If you watch it in theaters, or if you have your own surround sound system at home, what happens is when the voice goes silent for that first part, it's just bass. So you feel it instead of hearing it.
So I have a question about that. When he does it the first time, when he's like, hey, Mom, can I have some water? And she's like, no.
I love that.
Mind control me if you want some water, nigga.
Right?
I thought it was crazy. Like, I have to freaking imperious you to get some water. I'm thirsty. I just woke up. Can I get some water? So when he does the voice, I feel like it hit in that because of what you're saying. Like, they have the absence of voice with the bass, and then the voice kind of layers on it. later on it didn't feel the same. Like I feel like
They changed up the way it happens later on in the movie to make it go faster.
okay, yeah, so I didn't like that because when it first happened, I was like, that's really cool. That's much better than the 80s version.
Feeling that bass underneath it in the theater,
Yeah.
like you can feel the power of what they're doing.
Right.
I understand why Denis Villeneuve was like, yo, I made this to be seen in a theater.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah, and he
Because-
seems like the type, with given like some of his filmography, he's like, oh yeah, I make movies that you gotta.
Well,
you're
given
gonna
that
have
and
to-
what he said.
Yeah, that doesn't mean like him and like when I watch or when I hear his name, you're like, oh yeah, Denis Villeneuve, Arrival,
Mm-hmm.
Blade Runner, 2049,
He makes experience.
Yo, it's an experience.
distraction-free experience.
Cinema.
Yo,
Continue.
it is cinema. But yeah, I feel like all of the pieces of this movie come together. I think everybody who worked on this movie did a phenomenal job. This is a movie that I've legitimately been thinking about nonstop since I saw it that first time on Thursday night. It's a modern epic, I would say.
I can see that.
Yeah, so my conclusion is it's ambitious, it is visually stunning, and it's kind of thought-provoking at times. So yeah, until the Eternals comes out, my mind is only on Dune. So yeah, Colin thought it was boring.
Yeah.
Dallas liked it.
I did.
I loved it.
Yeah, we have like a
Spectrum.
slope.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's a
it
good
goes
word
from
for it.
Colin to Demi in terms of how much we enjoyed the movie.
One day we'll find out what Gabby thinks about anything ever again.
Colin, I told you, Gabby does not exist. We need to come to terms with this.
I want to believe.
Anyway,
This is the second time Gabby has been an X-Files alien, according
At
to you.
this point,
But yeah, that's Dune.
other than Dune, what you been watching, what you been doing, what you been paying attention to?
paying attention to it is a good one.
I want to get officially on mic. Colin, you have nothing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I recently finished 2 shows on Netflix, and I couldn't pick which one to talk about. So I'm just going to use Colin's time, and I'm going to do both.
That's
Jesus.
fair.
Yeah, right?
Go for it.
Exactly.
We're
Both
already
shows-
so far over time.
Yep. Shout out to
Yeah.
Dune. Both shows just finished their 4th season within the last couple weeks. The first one is On My Block. It's created by Lauren Unerick. I looked up how to say her name because it's not spelled how it sounds. Eddie Gonzalez and Jeremy Haft. Lauren created the show Awkward on MTV. Some of you probably saw it. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. And the latter two, Eddie and Jeremy, wrote All Eyes on Me, the Tupac movie. Tupac. On My Block stars Sierra Capri, Jason Janeo, Brett Gray, Diego Tinoco, and Jessica Marie Garcia. Yeah, now Demi's got me subconscious about IMDb summaries, just thinking about how boring they are. So I'm just going to say the show's about 4 kids who grow up in a rough part of Los Angeles. And so season 1 is a nice little coming-of-age comedy. And then season 2 becomes about money laundering. And then season 3 becomes about taking down a drug cartel boss. And it's very strange. And I talked about this show on my quarantine watch last year. Remember Quarantine Watch?
Yeah.
Cool.
Technically, in a sense, we're still in some form of quarantine. Well, still in the pandemic, but I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
quarantine.
But yeah. And yeah, season 4, they finally kind of got back to what the show started as. Because one of the things I said last year was there's a line in the show when Jason Janeo's character, Ruby, says, when are we ever just going to get to be teenagers? And I was like, I don't know, Ruby. You're taking down crime lords and laundering money. When are you going to get to be teenagers? But I like that they kind of brought it back. They toned it down, but not in a way that just acts like the other stuff didn't happen, because that would be bad writing. Like, you still have to deal with the ramifications of that. But right now, we're back to like, hey, what are we going to do about prom? What college are you going to go to?
Mm.
Is Caesar going to be a gang leader? But they also acknowledge the fact that that stuff kind of seems like it doesn't matter. Like, hey, I've been almost killed a couple times over the last few years. I laundered money. I found buried treasure. I'm not really worried about prom. I don't care. Like, a woman whose name is Knives kidnapped us all last year and threatened to kill us. And now she's dead. So I got bigger stuff on my mind. But yeah, I love all the characters. I'm sad to see them go. But I am glad that I no longer have to pretend that all these 20-year-old actors are high school age.
Now you just gotta watch other things where you gotta pretend 20-year-old actors are
So
high school
sick
age.
of that.
Starting with Spider-Man coming in December.
Oh, my nigga Tom Holland.
He is.
We'll get back to him
Okay,
later.
yeah, we
'cause,
gotta-
he's doing
yeah.
something else, and it's just, But yeah, I love all these actors. I love all the characters. Abuelita is probably my favorite character, and her relationship with Jamal, or as she calls him, Hamal, is it makes for some of my best moments in the show. Like, she's not his grandma, but she basically is. I'm sad to see it go. And at the beginning of the episode, I talked about how Netflix is canceling all my shows, not in rapid succession, but like in a few months, Ozark is gonna be over.
They find out that you like a show and they cancel it.
They're like,
Yes.
oh, Dallas isn't. They're like, David Fincher, Mindhunter, pull the plug. Pull the plug.
It's never coming back.
Never. You want to do some other stuff? You want to do everything else? It's not Mindhunter? Cool. But yeah. Ozark is going to be gone. Glow is gone. On My Block is over now. Dear White People is over now. Mindhunter's probably over forever. But they won't just like rip that Band-Aid off.
Yeah, they don't give it the closure.
I'm still mad about what they're doing on Twitter. Hey guys, we have a surprise with David Fincher.
Yeah, that was not nice.
Surprise, it's nothing.
You guys already knew.
Which, in fairness, it's not nothing. It's just
not what you wanted.
Right, it's
Not
something I
what
can
you
get on
hoped.
YouTube. But I talked about this on mic before. Back to On My Block. I love it. I'm glad that we got to see the completion of the story. They're doing a spinoff called
really?
Free Ridge, which is named after the city that the kids live in. I don't know how I feel about it. It has the same creators, but it sounds like the cast was kind of blindsided and didn't know about it happening. They're not in it, I guess. And they're just like, hey, you guys are done. Bring in the new kids. If that's how they did that, that's kind of grimy, but, I'm going to watch it. But back to positivity. Shout out to all the actors. I love you all. You're all great. That's On My Block. The soundtrack still slaps. Hooray. Netflix canceled another one. Okay, maybe canceled isn't the right word because these shows kind of go through there. Yeah, they ended another one of my favorite shows. Dear White People. Demi talked about this show 2 weeks ago, so I don't need to go into super detail. But it's created by Justin Simeon, stars Logan Browning, Brandon P. Bell, Deron Horton, Antoinette Robinson, John Patrick Amadore, and a bunch of other people. I love them all, especially Mark Richardson, who plays Reggie. This show is interesting because they're not in high school, but at the beginning of the show, they're supposed to be college freshmen. So let's say 18 or 19. The actors are even older than the actors on My Block. But season 4 takes place partially in the future. So they had the interesting dilemma of how do we take these actors
who are the age they should be,
who are the age they're playing in the future, and make them look older because we didn't do anything to make them look younger when they were playing 19-year-olds. Mark Richardson, I think, is 35 years old.
Well, at this point, also, I don't think they're not playing 18-year-olds anymore. They're playing
20 to 21-year-olds.
No, they're 22-year-olds at this point.
Some of them.
Because they're graduating.
Right, they're graduating. So some of them are 20, 21, 22.
Yeah, I don't think you changed enough from 18 to 22 for me to suddenly buy it. Oh, yeah, okay.
Right.
I don't know. I think you lose some of the baby features.
I can see that. But then, yeah, they were just like, okay, what do we do? Give Lionel a little patch beard and give Reggie some long-ass dreads. It was cool. Demi said a lot. I don't need to say a lot. I enjoyed it much more than season 3, which I call the Zane season because that's when Lionel became Zane. And I'm glad we didn't have to deal with that as much. But the show deals with intersectionality in an interesting way.
Yeah.
With I'm black, but I'm also gay. I'm black, but I'm also white. I'm black, but I also go to college. I don't know. But some of the musical numbers were super dope. Joelle singing "Take the Shackles Off My Feet So I Can Dance."
Yes.
That was fire. I was like, oh my God, we got some gospel songs in here.
Yes.
And it's one of those songs that I heard every other Sunday, my whole childhood, in the car.
Same.
But I haven't heard it since. So I was like, I know this song. When it hit, I was like, oh my God.
Because
she's doing church music.
They changed the rhythm. They slowed it down.
They changed a lot of stuff enough that it kind of takes me a while to gather what they're doing.
They did my boy Jamiroquai's Virtual Insanity.
That was super dope. Was that the Gun Range one?
Yes.
Yeah, that was super dope.
I love that song. I've loved Jamiroquai since I was a kid because my cousin used to listen to him all the time.
Makes sense. That's a name I've always heard but never known what.
Oh my gosh, his music is so good.
And that's funny because I've heard that song a bunch of times. I just never knew who it was.
Nobody really knows Jamiroquai's name, which is funny, but you like the songs that he does. Everybody loved Canned Heat because of Napoleon Dynamite. I only bothered to watch that movie because Canned Heat was in it.
Isn't Jamiroquai a group of people? Well, Wikipedia says it's an English funk band.
Oh, maybe they are a band.
Made up of
there's
6
only ever
to 7 people.
There's only ever one dude in the music videos. So.
Yeah. It's one of those things. But yeah, I like the way they wrapped up a lot of the stories. I was terrified because if you remember, Demi, you talked about the end credits scene and the way they tell a separate story.
Yes.
And about halfway through, I was like, oh no, I know where this is going.
I knew where it was going too. I was like, oh, damn it.
I was like, white boy we've never seen before. That can't be good. It kind of went where I thought, but it didn't end where I thought. So that was good. Shout out to that. Fun show. It's over now.
For you specifically, I would recommend Midnight Mass. I'm only 2 episodes in, but
that is on my list.
There you go. That's what Colin's been watching, and that's how you guys are going to hear about it.
Yeah.
It's so funny that Colin could do this section. He's always watching something. He just
See, I'm not, though. That's the thing. Because a lot of the things that I would be watching, I would want to save to watch with my boyfriend, but he watches things incredibly slowly. We started Midnight Mass a month ago. We watched 2 episodes. So it's I'm not watching that much.
I know that feeling.
But you are doing things.
Yeah.
but it's fine.
This
We'll
section is for
cover that
doing
later.
anything. Dallas, are you good?
Dear white people, it's dope. Season 4 is better than season 3. The show's over. The actors can go back to being 35. I'm happy for everyone involved. Demi, what you been watching? What you been doing?
What have I been watching? So much, but this week I chose to talk about Star Wars Visions, an anthology of short films set in a galaxy far, far away that we all know and love. These shorts were created by several different anime studios, including Trigger, Kamikaze Duga, and Studio Colorito. It's fantastic. My top 3 favorite episodes are The Duel, The Ninth Jedi, and The Elder.
Okay, I feel like I straight up missed something because people be talking about The Ninth Jedi like it's the second coming, and I thought that episode was fine.
I love The Ninth
I
Jedi.
don't understand why people love that one. Like, I thought it was cool, but it just didn't hit the way that I thought I expected it to. Now, The Elder, love that one. Mainly for the saber designs. Visions...
That's why I love The Ninth Elder.
See,
Or The Ninth
Jedi.
Jedi.
The thing about Visions, for me, sorry I co-opted your segment, watching Visions is why I don't want to watch What If. Because this is a version of Star Wars that I might actually learn to give a shit about, and I know that I'm never going to get full... It's not going to be expanded on that much.
Well, then just keep watching Visions. That's
Right, like, is Visions an anthology? Yeah, you said
It is.
It's an anthology, and they're also non-canon stories.
But are they making another season?
I think so.
I don't
You'll
know,
get
actually.
more, in theory.
Right, but it's like...
You worried like you're not going to get more of these specific stories?
Yeah, or like...
Some of these specific stories
Visions
would be
specifically
good.
feels like Star Wars allowed to actually be bold.
Mm.
Because Disney feels very shackled by, we have to make sure people like this, and so we're going to stick to what we know, the Skywalkers, things connected to them, yada yada.
Right.
Visions is like, this lady's lightsaber is a parasol or something. You're not going to get that in a mainline movie, I feel like, because
it's
too
not
risky.
actually a parasol. She has an accessory that she puts on it that makes it come out like a parasol, and it's kind of fucking
It's
cool.
incredible. It's the coolest lightsaber I've ever seen.
But
and it's like...
The Ninth Jedi have my favorite versions of lightsabers. I was like, this is literally the only way you could possibly make lightsabers cooler, in my opinion, is in that episode, the color of the lightsabers, they coincide with your soul.
Oh.
So if you have a red lightsaber, it's like, you're evil. Like, we know. Like, that's just you as a person. But it can turn colors. So if you turn, it'll turn colors as well.
But then, see, that makes me wonder, what does it mean for Mace Windu or for Ahsoka or for anybody who's not one of the 3 regular colors?
Well, because people have always said, even though the truth is it's purple because Samuel Jackson wanted a purple lightsaber.
Right.
But fans have always theorized that Mace Windu's lightsaber is purple because Mace Windu also taps into the dark side.
Interesting.
Alongside using the light side.
Mm.
That's always been a theory by fans.
I just wonder, what happens if you're a person who has a lightsaber but doesn't know about the light or the dark side and is just chilling? But is that determined on who you are or what you do? Because those are different
Who
things.
you are is what you do.
Not necessarily. You can go against your own morals to do something. I just wonder, like, if you...
We're getting deep today, folks.
Well, it's
We
like,
are.
Because if you have a red lightsaber, that means you're evil. That feels kind of fucked up because whose definition of evil? How does it determine if you're evil? Who gets to decide if you're evil?
I guess.
Well, to be fair, the lightsaber decided that these people were evil because they were like, yo, let's run up on this guy and just murder him. So...
Yeah. It's
Like,
because once you bring morality in it, I'm not sure who decides what's moral and what's not.
I mean, when you have a story with the dark side,
they're
I
evil.
think it's pretty binary. Given
Yeah,
Star
but
Wars' mythology.
See, that's the thing is I don't think it should be. Because
right,
you have,
but that's
like,
a different kind
Anakin's
of,
whole
that's a different question.
motivation wasn't evil at first.
When he killed all those kids?
At first. I said it first. Like, the whole scene in the opera, he's not trying to do evil shit. He's trying to gain power to protect people.
Uh-huh.
And this is the way he thinks he can do it.
Right.
Is he evil? He does some evil shit later. But I don't know. Like, at
I feel
that
like once
point,
you
would
kill
his
the kids,
lightsaber
that's at
have
the point
been...
where it turns red.
Okay.
Like,
But that's the thing is, would it have been red earlier?
Mhm.
Because he's having that conversation
Maybe
and
it's
giving
purple.
into the dark side? Like, I feel like...
But that's why I said that this is the only way that you could make lightsabers even cooler, because then you have this moral question of, oh, snap, his lightsaber's turning colors. What's
Right,
it
but I
mean?
mean, like,
now
what
you're in a
if
college philosophy class.
you get a lightsaber and it's red and you're like, I ain't done nothing? What are you saying about me? Like, if you're just a person just living your life and you get a lightsaber and surprise, that shit's red. It's like,
I mean, if your intent is to kill
I gotta
people,
start murdering. But you don't know that. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think that's a possibility, though, because remember,
Very funny.
even the main character of that episode, her lightsaber doesn't have a true color until we get closer to the end.
so how is it determined? I don't. But then it can change.
Exactly, I love it. Anyway, Star Wars Visions, it's amazing. It's fantastic. It's an anthology, like we said with What If. Some
Mhm.
episodes are gonna hit, some are not. I liked every episode. I'm not sure if I trust people who don't like Tatooine Rhapsody and TOB1.
Okay, Tatooine Rhapsody, best episode, slaps. TOB1
amazing.
sucks. Hate
What?
that episode. Couldn't stand it at all.
Oh my gosh,
I think
TOB1 is adorable.
It's adorable, but I think the episode moves way too fast and was just not interesting.
Okay, that's fair. However, if you don't like the character TOB1, I have to have an.
He annoyed me.
What?
Yeah.
Leave the child alone.
Just because it's a child doesn't mean I have to like it.
I mean,
That's
I feel
your
the same
kid's
way
son.
about Aang, but however, TOB1 is adorable. That is a precious child that should be protected at all
No.
costs. Absolutely a precious
Don't
child.
trust it.
See, and this is why me and Colin have issues.
Tatooine
Anyway,
Rhapsody slaps though.
Tatooine
That
Rhapsody is
one was
amazing.
my favorite.
People were complaining about that one, and I was like, "You have no taste."
No,
What's
people are wrong. That one's great.
That one's amazing. Rock stars in Star Wars. Why am what?
See, that is part of the reason I liked it so much was because it felt like it took place in the Star Wars universe, but it's what I've always wanted Star Wars to be, which is this doesn't. You have this really interesting universe and you have all these interesting concepts, and you keep circling the same characters and plots and things. And Tatooine Rhapsody felt like this is nothing like this is just a band.
Which is funny that he says that because Boba Fett and Jabba are both in that episode.
They don't matter. Like they're there, but
Boba
it's not
Fett is
about
literally
them.
chasing them around the
Yeah,
galaxy.
So, did you enjoy Vision?
Overall, I like what it is. It
Uh-huh.
was very hit or miss for me. Some episodes I was like, yeah. Some episodes I was like, no. And overall, like, it was fine. I
Yeah.
like what it represents more than what it actually was.
Actually, there is one more thing I do want to say about it. The thing that I was very excited about this show was that it's anime. Anime is a Japanese art
right.
form. Star Wars is inspired heavily by Japanese culture, by
Mhm.
Japanese movies. Kurosawa was a huge inspiration to George Lucas.
Right.
And you can see those inspirations in Star Wars. So the fact that there is now an anime series that is Star Wars, it felt like the franchise was finally coming full circle. Like we were coming back to what the roots of Star
can
Wars
see that.
is. And I thought that that was very cool, and I thought that was a very good idea. And I loved it. It was great. Had a great time.
I'm so happy that your like original love of Star Wars and your new love of being a weeb are coming together.
And it coincidentally happened like as I was getting into anime.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The perfect time. They're like, oh, Demi's a weeb now? Star Wars anime. Send it up. Like whoever's doing this for you is the opposite of the person who works at Netflix was targeting these.
Yeah, that's what is this?
But Colin, the reason I asked is because like, would you rather have not watched Vision? Because the thing that you said about not wanting to watch What If because it might give you something that you know you like but don't get enough of.
Yeah.
Why not just watch it, like it, and then
Because
it's not like you think you won't like it. That's a different.
No.
That's something that
I
yeah,
have this
get that.
weird thing. It's the same reason I don't read fan fiction. If it's not canon, it like ceases to matter to me. And I know that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't seem like your vibe.
It doesn't, but it is. That's why I don't read fanfic, because it's like no matter how good this fanfic is, I know it's never going to be canon, and so it just doesn't matter to me.
You gotta unlearn that and just learn the idea that canon doesn't matter.
Right, because you can still get more of it to enjoy it. Like if a certain fan fiction writer keeps writing that fan fiction, if you don't like the canon stuff, then you can keep reading that fanfic. Like it's still there for you to enjoy it.
Right, but there's something about
cares
the
if it's part of the
legitimacy
story?
of canon that matters to me for some reason.
That's weird. You
Yeah.
feel like the type of
opposite
person
what
who
I
would
was thinking
not
with Colin. Yeah, Colin's like, canon, forget, like, you think a lot of this stuff sucks.
Yeah.
So why be tied to what they consider official?
Because it kind of feels like I have to be. I don't like Disney's official line
Right.
for Star Wars. I don't like Disney's official line for Marvel, but they're official.
Well, technically, What If is also official. It is canon.
That's true.
Right, but it's like I don't want to be disappointed by like the fact that T'Challa Star-Lord was supposed to get his own series, but then rip.
Mm.
And from what I hear, people really love that one, and it's like I don't want to watch an episode go, this would be so much cooler, but instead we got this shit. I don't know. I don't want to be confronted
That's
with
so weird. I think
what
me,
was
me and
what
Dallas
is
are
better.
of the mind frame of I would rather have experienced it than never to have
Yeah,
gotten
and
it at
especially
all.
if I was someone who didn't like Marvel's main stuff, like, I don't really care about Star Wars.
Mhm.
But if they did a version of Star Wars that sounds like something I would care about, I would just do that instead of just, like, not doing either.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about like once you tell me that this is canon, that becomes the thing that matters most, whether I like it or not. And
That
it's
is a very-
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
Well, you might have to find a way to unlearn that because it's not fun.
Hate to see it. Yeah, you're missing
Yeah.
out on some
You're
cool
missing
stuff
out.
just because you're choosing to.
All right, news. Let's do it. News.
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 All right. Remember we talked about Tom Holland
Yeah.
being like 38 and playing teenager?
He's
Yeah.
not that old.
Yeah, I know. Tom Holland's in
He
his
is the
early
new
20s.
Thomas Brody Sangster, though.
Is that boy who looks like a boy,
Yes.
but is a man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now Tom Holland is playing an adult because he's an adult. In Uncharted, there's a trailer. The movie exists. A lot of people didn't think it would happen.
Yeah.
Colin
Like,
didn't think it
I
was
still
that.
don't.
Flash or New Mutants.
Yeah, I mean, it's lost as many directors as like The Flash has.
But it has a trailer.
Here we are.
It looks like an action movie. I mean, I haven't played the games. I have a friend who's like in love with them. Like when the third one came out, he bought the special edition. He's got a statue of Nathan Drake. Like, it's real cute. This just looks like a generic action movie. It feels like it doesn't. I don't know. It feels like not what I expect from Uncharted, but I don't know what I expect from Uncharted. But more than this, yeah, I don't. I feel like there is too much of him in existence, and I would like less of it for no good reason. He
All
annoys
right,
me.
well,
I don't know why.
Me and Dallas feel very different.
I love this nigga. But question: does Nolan North play Nathan Drake in the video game?
Yeah.
Okay, because I like Nolan North too.
I don't know about if the face was modeled off of him.
No.
But
It's his voice work. He's
it's his voice
He's
work.
a voice actor I like a lot. But yeah, this movie, it looks cool. It's one of those things that you take Tom Holland out, and I'm not interested. But you put Tom Holland in, and I am interested. There's a joke toward the end, which is, it's like a low-hanging joke, and it's very common, and I knew exactly where it was going, but the way that Tom Holland delivers it still made me like laugh out loud.
Is it the Scottish part?
Yes, when that dude comes in, and he's like, "I'll be shooting for my own hand," and starts yelling at Tom Holland. It's like, okay, I know this joke is Tom Holland doesn't understand the Scottish accent because no one does. But
I got the second half of what he said.
I like, I was like, when I thought about it, I was like, okay, I know what he said, but like the way Tom Holland says, "What?" is so great to me. And it's just one of those moments where you take something that is enhanced by the person who does it.
Yes.
And I really love that. Jimmy, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
I mean, Tom Holland is Sony's golden goose right now, man.
That's true.
He's their Spider-Man. Now he's their Nathan Drake. I think this movie looks like any other movie that tries to be like Indiana Jones. It looks like an anthropology type of film. And I like those types of movies. I love adventure movies where we're off to find a treasure. I will see this movie. I love Tom Holland. I think he's great. And I think they hired Tom Holland to do what Tom Holland does best.
Yeah.
Which is this performance.
Yeah, be charismatic, be funny, jump around a bit.
Yeah, I don't know if that's Nathan Drake. I don't know anything about the Uncharted games.
I have not played them.
Well, they're also choosing to go with like the bits in Uncharted 3 where Nathan Drake is like a child. Because Nathan Drake is a grown man.
Yeah, he's a grown man.
He does not look like Tom Holland. He looks like a grown, grizzled, I've been doing this for a while man. Sully is a lot older. So they're definitely doing a younger thing.
Okay.
Because like, have you seen what Sully looks like in the games?
I think I saw a picture when they cast
Like,
Mark
it's Paul
Wahlberg.
Newman. He's old. Like,
yeah.
He old.
Yeah, but like it looks like it's gonna be a fun time. Like you said, I love Tom Holland. I will see this movie for Tom Holland. Tati Gabrielle is also in this movie. Dear God, why does she have to be a villain? But fine, let's do it anyway.
Is she the one that's in Sabrina?
Yeah, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what voice she's going to use for this movie because she does not her actual speaking voice is nothing like what she sounds like when she plays Prudence on Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Interesting.
So I am curious because I haven't seen her in a role outside of Sabrina, but she's so amazing on that show. And I'm like, yeah, of course you're playing the villain. Oh, okay. Well, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Also, I don't know what character she's playing. People are assuming she's playing a character named Nadine, and I looked up who that character is, and she sounds very capable. So
nice.
I'm down for that at the very least. Looks like a fun time. I'll see it.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably see it as well.
It's like one of those movies where I didn't have any expectations for it, and it's kind of looking like it's going to be what I would expect if I had any expectations.
Exactly. Moving on to another trailer.
Ambulance.
Yes, Ambulance.
Michael Bay movie.
Michael Bay.
It looks like a Michael Bay movie, and it looks
really
like Michael
does.
Bay has discovered drones.
Which, that's great. I'm happy for him. This is another movie where you take the people who are
the
in
cast
it,
out of it, and I don't
now
care.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
If you take them out, I don't care about this Ambulance movie.
I mean,
but
the movie stars Jake Gyllenhaal,
right.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, and Asa Gonzalez. Yes, I'm going to see the movie.
Right. I'm like, I love Yahya. He's been doing great things. Jake Gyllenhaal is a fantastic actor. That one scene where I think it's the cop comes to the door of the bank and he's talking to him.
He's so charming.
He's so charismatic. I was like, okay. And Kayla was saying somebody saw Far From Home and saw him when he was being good guy Mysterio, like, and seeing how charismatic he was, and they're like, oh yeah, that's our dude.
Yeah.
But this trailer felt like a movie. It's long.
It's like a 3-minute trailer. I don't know why it's that long.
It's long, and we're getting everything.
It feels like it takes you through the whole movie.
Right, we got the setup, inciting incident, some conflict, a whole lot of conflict. We got some brother issues.
Some like introduction of new characters. It's like
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
This is a short film.
Right.
like we didn't need the proof of concept.
Like, just tell me the cast, and I'm probably gonna go see it.
Yeah,
I don't
but
need
I am very
First
interested
act.
also because it's written by Chris Fedak, who created and wrote for Chuck and Prodigal Son, two of which
Oh,
those
you
two
love
shows.
those things.
Yes, those are two of my favorite shows. So I'm very interested to see what he wrote. It's very interesting that it is a Michael Bay movie. I have no issues with Michael Bay. I can't think of a Michael Bay movie that I like actively hate. Possibly because the ones
Must be
that I
nice.
would probably actively hate, I have not seen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like the Bad Boys movies.
Same.
I liked The Island. I am one of the hot take. I really like that movie. I like the first Transformers movie. I think
The
that's
first Transformers movie is fantastic.
it's fantastic. Yeah.
It's so great. And I hate the fact that the movies got so bad that everyone just says, oh, the Transformers movies are terrible. And it's
They're
like,
not
excuse
all.
me, nigga. The first one was great. I love that movie, and I continue to love that movie. And, things took a turn. But Michael Bay has made some really good movies, like Demi said.
Yeah. And nobody makes action like Michael Bay does. There's a style. It's a Michael Bay movie.
He's going to blow some stuff up.
That's the thing. Michael Bay feels like he knows what he likes, and he's gonna make what he likes. And if you don't like it, he doesn't care. He's still gonna keep making it because that's what he likes, and that's fine.
I love that.
Like his movies are for the people who like his movies. You know what you're gonna get, and yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, he has a
I think
style.
that's fantastic.
He has a style. That style is all his own. And he directed Six Underground.
Yeah, that's the more recent one I saw. I like that movie a lot. Although that is probably also a case of you take out the person in the movie, maybe I don't like it as much because I love Ryan Reynolds. And I don't remember who else is in that movie. Presumably 5 more people.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, one of them I thought was Asa Gonzalez, I think. And then I was
It is
watching
not
I was
her.
like, that's not her.
The trailer reminds me of like movies like from the 90s, like Speed. Like it gives me that type of vibe, and I'm not against that. I kind of like
Yeah.
movies that give me like 90s vibes
You're
because
right.
we don't get those anymore. So why not?
Yeah, and it does feel like, we know the whole story. Story-wise, it does feel like, it doesn't look like a bad movie.
No, it looks interesting.
Like, I could get behind this story mostly because of the people I know are very capable actors
yes.
portraying the story. I'm like, okay, I could definitely get into this, like, brotherly issues going on.
Take a
Asa
nurse
Is
hostage.
a nurse. Yeah.
I'm sorry, she's a doctor.
Is that what's going on? Okay, she's in the
She's
ambulance.
an EMT. I'm assuming she's an EMT. She's in the back of the ambulance. She's wearing a uniform.
I don't know. We'll find out.
I know. I'm assuming she's an EMT. That would only be the logical choice. I was excited to see a trailer for it because, like I said, I really like the writer of the movie, and I'm interested to see what he wrote. And the cast is amazing. So yeah, when it comes out in February, I will be checking it out.
Yeah.
We'll let you know how it turns out, guys.
The next piece of news is Ryan Gosling is going to play Ken in the Barbie movie starring Margot Robbie and directed by my nemesis, Greta Gerwig.
Okay. Is
So-
she your nemesis? Do you think? Wait, does she work for Netflix?
No, she doesn't.
Is she the Netflix villain?
It's funny because when I said I want to talk about this on mic, Demi was like, I don't know what you're going to say other than your beef with Greta Gerwig. And yes, that is the main reason I put it on here. But I want to clarify, Greta Gerwig is not my nemesis for 2 reasons. 1, she has no idea who I am
True.
or the fact that I exist. And 2, if I saw her walking down the street, I wouldn't recognize her. I don't even know what this woman looks like.
I don't even.
I just say she's my nemesis because she thinks people of color are a collective hallucination. So
You have no proof of that.
I have no proof of otherwise either. When Greta Gerwig makes a movie with the POC protagonist,
Okay.
I
To
will
be
stop.
fair, what's his name? Stephen
what are you talking about?
McKinley Henderson.
Yeah, to be fair, the black guy
He
we
is
were talking
in
about earlier.
one of her movies, but she chose like the lightest black man imaginable. So
Stop
But yeah,
being hostile on our podcast.
this is like jokes.
we're being
hostile.
positive about people of color.
Aside from that, I really like Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
I love Ryan Gosling. He was in Remember the Titans, and I've said on mic before, if you're in Remember the Titans, I love you inherently. He's also in a goofy little episode of Goosebumps about a camera that kills people.
Say cheese and die.
Yes, it was so good. The camera looked like a freaking printer.
Oh really?
He was
Yeah.
also in the Mickey Mouse Club.
And in recent years, I come to see that he's actually very hilarious with the stuff like The Nice Guys, Crazy Stupid Love. Like, I really enjoy this man. Margot Robbie's dope.
I do love Margot Robbie. She's great.
Yes, Demi loves Margot Robbie.
She's fantastic. And also her production company is the one that's producing this movie.
Yeah, Lucky Chap,
And Lucky Chap tends to make pretty good movies.
I would assume. What did they make? Birds of Prey?
I, Tonya, Birds of Prey, Promising Young Woman.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, her production company like hit the ground running.
Personally, I don't really care for I, Tonya, but I don't think it's bad.
Oh, I, Tonya is such a good movie.
I don't know what they're going to do with a Barbie movie, but I feel like it's going to be funny.
Oh, they also made Made, which is the new series on Netflix,
Oh, I
which
heard
is
about
doing
that.
super well.
I heard about that.
Super good. They made Dollface, I think. I think they made Dollface.
Dollface is the one with the cat lady?
No, the one with Kat Dennings.
No, it
And the
is
cat
the
lady.
one with the cat lady. That was the one that.
Oh, the one that
The
Gabby
bus
knows.
driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I repressed that memory.
Probably for the best.
Gabby's going to bring her Yiffy. Never mind.
Oh, collective hallucination, guys.
That's true. We all hallucinated a furry friend. I don't know
But
what that
yeah,
says about it.
Margot Robbie produces some pretty good content.
It's
pretty good
interesting because
movies.
Barbie is, you know how there's this trend of people playing characters and then stupid people going on the internet and complaining, like, their titties aren't big enough. They're not the right height. They don't look like this person.
Margot Robbie looks like a Barbie.
But also she doesn't because, like, traditionally speaking, Barbie has proportions that if a human had them, they would die.
God.
So I'm just waiting for the internet discourse of Margot Robbie isn't blank enough to be a Barbie. And then the people who are like, well, if anyone was, they'd be
Okay.
dead.
Two concerns. One I just thought of. Well, both of them I just thought of, but one. So first of all, if Aqua is not in this movie, then it's a 0 out of 10.
Is
and it
Aqua
shouldn't
the
have been
song,
named.
the person
I'm
who
a
made the
Barbie
Barbie
girl.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
If that's not in this movie or in the trailer, then this movie is a waste of time. But also, are we gonna look at another what was that movie I refused to see because it scared me? Well, there's a lot of them, but Welcome to Marwen.
So many. Yes.
Are we gonna come? What is this movie gonna look like? Are they gonna be people? Are they gonna be dolls? What is it?
And I'm glad you
I'm
brought.
scared.
I'm glad you brought up fear because as soon as you said that about Aqua, I was
Fear.
thinking, I want this to be a horror movie, and I want them to do the thing they do in horror movies
slow
where they
down
take a
yeah.
song and slow it down. Like I got 5 on it. I just want to hear a terrifying version of
it's
I'm a
just
Barbie
like,
girl.
is she gonna be talking plastic?
I don't know.
I don't want that.
It's fantastic.
Is she gonna have those weird joints?
I don't know, but the movie is written by Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig, which
Oh,
is
I
interesting
am
to
100% out.
me.
Goodbye.
Movie gets wider by the second.
And,
Marriage Story, right?
But also the synopsis is a doll living in Barbie Land is expelled for not being perfect enough and sets off on an adventure in the real world.
Oh,
so
this
life
doll's
size.
gonna be
I was
walking.
gonna say life size.
Life size.
Tyra Banks.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're making a big budget life size.
Was she a doll in that, or was she a person?
No, she was a doll.
I think she was a dog who became a person.
Okay, she became a
She
person.
became Tyra Banks.
That's fine. If she gets expelled from Barbie Land and becomes a regular person, I won't run screaming from the theater. I mean, I'm not gonna. You tell me Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig, and I immediately fall asleep. I'm not gonna see this fucking movie. But you know, I've seen a couple of her movies. And
For
yes,
the
I think
record,
they're
this
boring.
woman has only made 3 movies.
I've seen 2 of that. What are her 3? Lady Bird.
Lady Bird.
Little Women.
Little
Oh,
White
I've
Woman.
seen. What's this? Her?
The other one is not even super famous. She's mostly known as an actress. Like her movie.
Yes.
She
I've
doesn't know.
heard
She
that.
hasn't done
It's
that many
I
movies.
don't really have that much against her. I enjoy that Dallas is right, and then you have Noah Baumbach, and I don't agree with his philosophy, and so it's just like
As a director,
as a director,
he's only writing.
I don't trust it. But the thing is, I've seen some of what Barbie has done in terms of like the animated shows. It's nuts. It's insane. Like some of the
Sounds
stuff just doesn't make any sense. It's really funny. This feels like you took Barbie, sucked any personality out of it, and said, "Here we go." Just
I mean, I
based on
doubt they'll
who's
do that.
involved.
Like they got people who can play, characters full of personality.
I wonder
know.
if they're going to be given characters with personality to play.
We'll see. I'm just upset now because Demis described it as life size, and it just reminds me of we had 17 again.
Yep. And then we had 17 again.
Yeah, we had
Again.
17 again with Tia Tamera and their brother Taj Mahal. And then they made a wider, big budget version called 17 again, and now that's 17 again.
Oh,
Like they just gentrified
okay.
it, and now 17 again is a movie starring Zac Efron, and everyone's acting like the dope version that we grew up with doesn't exist. And now this is gonna happen again. Now it's gonna be like, oh, Barbie, ha ha ha. It's like, all right, y'all don't remember
Well,
Life Size?
To be fair though, Barbie existed before Life Size and is a bigger
That's
deal to
true.
begin with.
That's fair. It's not the same thing. It's not just gentrifying the movie,
Yeah.
but it's gentrifying.
Also, Noah Baumbach apparently wrote a Madagascar film. So now I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't have a beef with Noah Baumbach. He's only I'm only aware of Marriage Story.
Listen, Marriage Story is an amazing film, well written, well directed.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna go after him because he hasn't made 3 movies with no people of color.
That you know of because you don't watch his stuff. We need to move on.
Let's get to the thing that to me is here to talk about in the news section.
I am. Hayden Christensen set to return as Anakin Skywalker in the Ahsoka series. Guys, the Hayden Christensen redemption arc continues. I'm so excited.
Like him as a person in real life, or like
People
Anakin?
hated his portrayal of Anakin Skywalker so much. He got so much crap and was called a...
Everybody did. Didn't the kid, too?
Yes.
Aw, the little boy.
That's why he stopped acting. He has so many issues because fans were so cruel.
Attacking a kid.
Because they can. Yeah,
People are terrible.
basically. And this was before social media. Like,
Oh my god, that's crazy. Are they writing letters?
yes. But yeah, Hayden used to get a lot of slack because of the prequels. Most prequel haters. Listen, I went through an entire, almost my entire life, liking the prequels and just not talking about how much I like the prequels because everybody would hate on them.
That's kind of how you have to treat them, yeah.
And now people want to go back and be like, the prequels were actually amazing. It's like, I'm sorry, you have not been in this fight as long as I have. Anyway,
Oh, boy.
I'm so excited that he's coming back as Anakin Skywalker, both in Obi-Wan Kenobi, which he will probably be playing Darth Vader more so than Anakin Skywalker. The thing about the Ahsoka show is that there's a good chance that he will be playing Anakin Skywalker and not Darth Vader.
Right.
Because the Ahsoka show most likely will take place post her appearance on The Mandalorian.
Okay, so
Which-
this is live action.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the one with Rosario Dawson.
Right.
Which means that it takes place after Return of the Jedi, which means Anakin Skywalker's dead.
Oh.
So either we're getting flashbacks of Anakin and Ahsoka back in their Clone Wars days, or we're getting Force Ghost Anakin. Regardless, the moment he calls her Snips, there will be tears coming out of my eyes. She calls him Sky Guy. It's over. It was reported by The Hollywood Reporter, which is it's a trade magazine, whatever you want to call it, that I do trust when it comes to scoops.
I don't know if you saw, but Rosario Dawson.
I did.
Yes.
I
okay.
did. That's the reason I'm bringing that up. So I trust Hollywood Reporter
Mhm.
because they typically don't get it wrong. I don't think I've ever seen Hollywood Reporter not report something that turned out to be accurate.
Mm.
But it's like the Marvel thing. If it's not announced by the official website of Star Wars, you're not really supposed to take it as a truth until it actually is announced.
Right.
But Rosario Dawson apparently made a post on Instagram that said, Sky Guy, which is what Ahsoka called Anakin,
Mhm.
they know. See you soon. Snips.
Oh, cute.
And then apparently she deleted it.
Oh, okay. She's being sneaky.
But people got screenshots of
Of
it,
course, the
obviously,
internet.
because the internet.
Yeah, she knew.
So Hayden Christensen is definitely coming back as Anakin, and I'm so excited. And I'm just like I said, I think that this is like his redemption arc. I think Star Wars fans are finally going to start appreciating his portrayal as Anakin Skywalker, because Hayden is a really good actor, and he got a lot of slack for the prequels, and he did not deserve it.
That's what I don't understand. Is like, I guess I just don't understand why you would yell at him. Because how many times do you hear that line of the actor did the best with what they were given?
Right.
Right? And it's like, maybe that's what happened here.
And the thing is, even if you don't like the dialogue in the prequel Star Wars movies, Hayden's physicality and his emotion behind the words are very spot on to what the character should be feeling at that moment. And he portrays it very, very well.
I hate sand. I don't think that's an exact quote.
That's not it's an
Does
exact
say it,
quote,
but the
but that
tone is
tone
way
is-
off. He's very
Yeah.
quiet. I hate sand. It's rough and coarse and irritating.
Yeah,
and
he's
gets
he's
everywhere.
very calm about that entire interaction. Also, he's trying to seduce Padme, and I don't understand how you decided to do it, sir. But
Yeah, talking about how you hate sand.
Anakin, you're so lucky you're pretty. Anyway,
Isn't that the same moment or not the same scene, but the same encounter where he does the thing with like the fruit though? Like that's cute.
that's earlier. I think that's either earlier on in the day or later on in the day.
And then they do the whole rolling down the thing. He works it.
He did it. Well, because the sand thing, because he was saying it's rough and course, it gets everywhere, and then he leans in to touch her skin as if to say she's not those things.
He's
Okay.
like, you know what
okay,
else is
okay.
gonna get everywhere?
No,
No, it's
Alex, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You know what's not rough and coarse,
Ugh.
but we'll get it.
Guys, we
Movies.
need to end this podcast. Yes, but as I said, I'm super excited about Hayden coming back. I wish Gabby was here to join in my excitement. It is the return of the king. He's back. That's all we've got for you guys today. We had a long review for Dune. and a bunch of other random stuff that just. I'm going to have a rough time editing this one together, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember we talked about Dune like 2 hours ago?
Holy.
Yes. Thanks for fighting through all of that, audience. Thanks to Crown Digital, Brandon, and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Demi, thank you for editing and putting us on YouTube, maintaining your brand with all the sci-fi stuff. Colin, thank you for providing a different perspective on Dune.
And everything else, actually.
And, yeah, honestly, everything. Fan fiction, Dune, enjoying content.
Canon.
Morality.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Holland. You're our guy for the differences. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Audience, what'd you think of Dune? Did you like it better than Dune? Or do you like Dune better? Let us know in the comments.
But also,
or
you're forgetting Dune.
Oh, right. Sorry. Forgot about Dune. What's your favorite Dune? Let us know in the comments or hit us on Twitter at y'all_different or Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If you want to console me over the loss of all my Netflix shows, you can hit me up on Twitter and or Instagram at the King Named Simba, and we can talk about it.
I would like to point out, was it? I think it was you I was talking to when the trailer for Little Women came out, and it was like pause at this one frame, and there might be a black girl in the background.
We did that.
Yeah, we did that.
We did that in your room.
Yeah.
We went, like, shot by shot and looked for one.
You want to talk to me on Twitter? You can find me at Duck McGuck. Now this is podcasting.
If you guys want to talk to me about Dune and all things about it that are amazing, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thanks again for joining us.
Yep, it's been different. Bye.
You're not gonna.
I'm not gonna what?
Gabby.
She doesn't exist.
Who is that? My niece?
Are
She's
you
not
just
on this
are you
podcast.
just doing this so that you don't have to come up with names anymore?
Colin, we have to get better. We can't keep going back to this imaginary thing we got.
I'm not ready to let go.
We have to heal Colin.
No.
She's not real.
You saw Malignant. Maybe she is. Gabriel? Gabby?
Oh no.
Surprise.
I'm in a James Wan movie.